So as markets continue to downturn, what is going to be the focus this week? What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions here with a super quick market update. I do want to remind you, I will be going live later today for our Sunday Stock Talk. This is where if you're a new trader and you would like me to break down your stock live, I'm going to be going live right around 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I would love to see you there. So drop a thumbs up right now and make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's free to tune on in. With that being said, I read this article that I really think can shed some light on the big focus for this upcoming week. For the past 2 years, right? Well, first let me show you. This is the NASDAQ market, and this is the recent downturn that we have been seeing. Markets overall for 2024 have been incredibly bullish. We have seen some retracements down to the moving average, but it's been more recently that we've been lagging, I think is the best way to put it. We made new all-time highs for NASDAQ and the S&P 500, then we pulled on back. We went back to retest for NASDAQ. We didn't go back to previous highs, and now we're coming back to retest the moving average. The concern is can things get worse before they get better? Will we break support at the moving average and continue to downturn? That is the big what if, right? Well, what's the big focus now? Because, for the past 2 years, the big focus has been inflation. But we have made this very clear, and I've tried to express based off of my experience and what I've noticed, how the market is reacting based off of different earning reports. And different economic events. I know I can't be the only one. I've shared it before where the big focus for the Federal Reserve for the past 2 years was to bring down inflation. That was where the fight really was, right? But now that inflation went from 9.1% all the way down to now closer to the target of 2%, we have a CPI data report this week. Do you guys remember that a few months ago, everyone was like, all right, guys, like this is it. Make sure that you're paying attention because this Wednesday there's a CPI report and market's going to move. Depending if inflation comes in higher or lower, that's the focus. It's not necessarily the case this week. Now the big focus are job reports. How is the unemployment report doing? How are the initial claims and continuing claims? I mean, the initial claims and continuing claims get released every Thursday. 1 hour before the market opens. But now, according to this article, and I thought it was just very well said, check this out. So it says, traders keep half an eye on CPI with jobs fear that is the new inflation. So for the past 2 years, the Federal Reserve has started its aggressive fight against inflation. Equity traders have been glued to their screens on the days that the CPI report was released. But things could be different on Wednesday. As many of you guys know, it's this Wednesday that the CPI data report is going to be released. I'll leave it up to you guys. I would love to host a free live session during that CPI report, but if you don't think it's important enough anymore, we definitely do not have to do it. I know how valuable sleep is, so I get that. So when the latest CPI print happened, because inflation was heading down towards the Fed's target and the central bank was getting close to its rate cuts, the reading is less crucial to the stock market. Instead, it's all about the weakening landscape and whether the central bank can avoid a hard landing. So the pivotal question, check this one out. The pivotal question for stock investors is whether the Fed waited too long to start cutting before recession risks are high. And now just 2 months ago, Eric Ditton, president and managing director of Wellness, all of a sudden inflation is no longer a big issue. And we tend to see these shifts, right? Where there has been the concern, hey, maybe the Federal Reserve did wait a little bit too long to start cutting interest rates. It was talked about, and again, I'm just sharing what I've experienced. It was talked about in the beginning of 2024 that then the Federal Reserve can start cutting interest rates. But the first actual rate cut is expected to happen on September 18th of this month. So again, if you're just getting started, this is like a really important time to be paying attention. So you came at just the right time to observe. Remember, if you're just getting started, you don't have to trade these markets right now. It takes time to learn and it takes time to understand how the market's going to react. And to be completely, blunt with you, we don't know. We don't know if the market's going to react in a positive or negative way once the Federal Reserve starts cutting interest rates. So with that being said, option traders are betting on more of that, but less of what has made to expect for CPI. As Friday morning, they'd price a 0.85% move on either direction for the S&P 500 and realize that the CPI day is going to be one of the smallest days this year. And I thought that was really just important to share. The reason why is that people are even expecting the catalyst of the CPI to be rather flat. And that's one of the first times that it's really been shared, right? We've experienced it that the past previous CPI data reports have not been as significant. And I just simply think that inflation is no longer a big concern for the Federal Reserve. And now the big concern is this hard landing and how our unemployment or job market is doing. That's all I hear Jerome Powell talk about. That's all I hear about from other individuals, right, in different articles. How is our job market doing? Is unemployment going to go up or go down? Based off of the most recent reading for our unemployment rate, we came in at 4.2% from 4.3%, so it doesn't look too bad. But we will see if things begin to actually change once the Federal Reserve actually starts cutting interest rates, and to see how the stock market reacts, but also how our economy reacts. So again, there's no reason to try to predict when all we need to do is simply prepare and wait for the market to react, right? So I'm very excited for this week, not because anyone knows exactly what's going to happen, but as of right now, market sentiment is a little bit bearish. We'll see if the market continues to sell off. And if it does, we can take advantage of that. But I want to remind you, markets are more bullish than they are bearish. So I think that this is a great time to be paying attention to the market, because if we do experience a downturn, you don't have to short the market. That's the thing that I love reminding our beginners. People think that because I short, I'm going to encourage others to short. If you're part of my LPP team, I don't ever encourage beginners to short because it comes at a different level of risk. With that being said, because September historically is one of the worst performing months out of the year, I think it's a great time to be paying attention to the market, because if the market does downturn and then begins to recover in October, then guess what? You can begin to cherry pick the 1, the 2, the 3 different stocks that you want to invest or that you want to trade or swing trade that will begin to recover maybe in the months that follow. And that is the beautiful part about trading, is that you get to decide when you take action. And when these opportunities begin to sell off and these deals begin to present themselves, that is truly where the most money is made, because you can make it on the recovery. So very excited to follow up. I'd love to see you for our Sunday Stock Talk later today. So make sure you subscribe, and also don't forget to drop a thumbs up. And if you ever want to tune on into my live trading sessions, I trade live every single morning, Monday through Friday. You get to see all of my good trades and all of my bad trades. And if you learn best by watching other people do, click that second link in the description down below. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. Price will be going up an additional $200. So again, if you want to get in for the best price right now, it's the second link in the description down below right now. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.